Thanks a lot. And this is the most regimented compare. Like she was showing the earlier panelists at the end of the panel. So guys, remember, after the panel, we have to just leave the room. Is it? So thanks for that. But that helps in time management, perhaps. So glad to be sort of comparing or moderating this panel, following the finance and the strategy sort of panel, moving from concrete to content and creativity, moving from the hard to the soft, moving from natural intelligence to artificial intelligence. And we'll talk a lot about technology and non-technology in this panel as we go ahead. But since I've got a mic in hand, and as I keep on reminding people about the color of my hair, I'm going to give a context of sales and marketing in real estate. I'm going to take a step back and almost go 30 years, 1995 onwards. I've spoken about this in few panels, but I'll repeat it right now. I'll summarize it a bit. So clearly there have been 5 or 6 phases of sales and marketing in real estate itself, starting in 1995, which is 30 years back, when there was SMS and email marketing, remember? So the email was invented at that time, SMS got invented because mobile phones got launched. So that was the first phase of sort of a non-print, non-TV, non-outdoor marketing which started. And then thankfully India hit the road early with reality portals, right? Makaan.com, Magic Bricks, 99 acres. So the online search became online, which was a pretty momentous sort of occasion if you look at it sitting here at that time. So instead of going to the neighborhood Patil Bhau, you could go to internet and search for homes. That was the second stage of evolution, I would say. And then, unfortunately, immediately, Facebook and Google happened. If I think some of these portals had got some time to establish themselves as the Google of real estate, things may be different, like Zillow in US or Real Estate Australia have been able to establish. That was the third phase. Facebook and Google came almost immediately after the portal started. Digital performance marketing was born. The term performance marketing was really not lived up to its sort of full glory till that time. So performance marketing happened. Unfortunately, to my dismay, performance marketing has remained similar in the last 10-15 years. And clearly some of us here possibly need to pick that up and do something about it. So that was the third phase. The fourth phase was back-end automation. CRM came in, which is not so much visible in the forefront. There was a sort of missed phase, and Rohit, you sort of represent that piece on the AR, VR, XR sort of see homes and buy it online. I think that journey is still in the nascent phase, and I think it should still be given further sort of not a lease of life, but it needs more injection of some sort of smart movement there, because home purchase never went online. So we'll talk a bit about that. That is the fifth phase. And the sixth phase is what Govind that I have been evangelizing and speaking just before the conference on AI, predictive AI and generative AI. So AI existed before November 2022 also, while most of the people think that November 22 is the birth time of AI, but that was generative AI. There was predictive AI, ML driven AI before that. And to my mind, that could be the biggest innovation in other industries and real estate as well. But we'll talk about that as we go ahead. So that's a quick sort of a journey of 30 years, if it helps all of us to sort of almost launch ourselves into the discussion from that. So what I'll do, guys, is that I've got 4 or 5 topics which I've sort of scribbled down for myself. And I'll start off with a topic which all of you can sort of chip in for a couple of minutes, and then some of the topics I'll pull in 3-4 of you to sort of weigh in there. So the first one, and possibly we could go sort of in order. The first one is basically what are the new sales and marketing frameworks, systems, techniques, technologies that you have deployed in your business in the last 3 to 4 years that have resulted in smarter sales and marketing, since the topic is smarter sales and marketing. Rohit, you want to start, and then Sarina will go that way.
Thanks, Sunil. It's a wonderful question. See, there's a huge paradigm shift which happened post-COVID. So we have seen an era pre-COVID where people were searching property on Magic Breaks and other PropTech platform. and they go visit the project, and they decide, they visit multiple projects, and the time period is also, they take 10 months to 1 year to decide which project they want to move in. But post-COVID era, people are digital first. They want to explore everything sitting at home, thanks to Swiggy, Zomato, where they have given an instant gratification that, okay, if I want to explore anything, I can explore immediately. They want to see properties sitting at the comfort of, at their own couch, in the office, the comfort of home. They want to explore the property. They want to filter out the property as per their basic needs, that what kind of property they want to move into. And like pre-COVID era, the pricing, location was the key factors which people look into before taking a decision. Now they look into amenities, they see so many things. They want to know in and out of every property. What kind of unit I am getting, is there enough sunlight, is there enough air coming in, ventilation is there or not, are there amenities for my kids or not. So they want to explore everything. And they, so that's where XR and all this new tech comes into picture.
And XR, could you explain
XR, where we give an experience to the customer when they're at the site or at the comfort of their home, that how their new home will be looking like. And they explore it, and then they decide, okay, out of 20 or 30 projects in a particular location, which project they want to visit. And they take quick decision. Now this 1 month, 2 months is a time in which customer takes a decision whether we should go ahead with the project or not. And again, this, you talked about AI. AI is another thing which is changing the entire way people are searching. Now people are not searching on Google, which this project. They are asking AI that, okay, which are the projects which suits my requirement and within my budget. And
you mean AI, LLMs? You mean ChatGPT or something?
These questions, and they're getting the answers.
Got it.
So AI is changing, and it will develop, it will grow, it will help developers as well. I'm sure Deepak, Govind can add a lot on it.
Thanks, Rohit. So AR, VR, XR and AI, you think are the new sort of technologies that could influence real estate marketing. Thanks a lot. Sarina, what?
So, like you rightly said, COVID was a great time to understand what kind of marketing you were doing, whether it was working for you, whether it will work for you in the future. As you all know, Oberoi Realty is a luxury brand, and the vision was to continue developing it as an ultra luxury brand. So we looked at what we were doing, and we realized, and as you all know, luxury brands were very hesitant to promote and market on digital platforms, because the whole brand experience wouldn't be complete on a digital platform. But we know all that changed. Post-COVID, the luxury brands realized that they would have to get into an entire digital transformation journey, and that's what we did. We wanted to be more relevant. We wanted to use digital platforms, whether it is performance or social media, to make our presence felt. We understood that what has got us here is not going to get us there where we want to go if we don't embrace our digital transformation journey. So what works very well for us is the whole brand storytelling, brand marketing, the entire brand experience. And you would all know that, or at least we believe, that this is the biggest check a customer will ever write in his life when he buys a home. And we have to be prudent of that and careful of that. Hence, you would write that check with a brand that has strong credibility, which has strong brand equity and brand strength. And that can be communicated. For us, our creative communication strategy is the biggest tool that we use on social media, on short formats and long formats. So most of our time, most of our team members spend time creating content, telling you the real brand story and what you're actually going to experience when you buy an Oberoi Realty product.
Fantastic, Sarina. So I'm sure Ogilvy and Kotler would be sort of breathing easy that there are some people who are still talking about brand and brand building and storytelling. Thanks for that, Sarina. Deepti, you want to continue on what all tricks, frameworks, techniques, technologies have you guys used in the last 3-4 years, which are different from others?
So essentially, we all know where our customer is. It's so much easier to find them today because of the digital landscape. I guess today, even a consumer that lands on your website, the first thing that will pop up is the chatbot that allows him to, facilitate navigating through the entire system. So right from the time that he lands on your website till the time he's interacting with. So basically, it's like how you have an omni-channel kind of a setup. Here as well, you've got a customer interface as in a human interface and a digital interface that allows you to ensure that the experience that the consumer gets is very, very, all-encompassing and not just like technical in that sense. So from the chatbot, then the consumer interface that happens with the internal teams, then right at the site where the consumer is having the privilege of actually even seeing what is the view that he is going to get of his, out of his apartment. It's to that downline nuances that we take care of. So it gives the consumer a lot of understanding what he's actually going to buy into. All of this AR and VR, if I'm not mistaken, was possibly there even a decade ago. But now with the technology, a lot of advancements and a lot of fine-tuning that's happened, it's become a lot more seamless is what I believe. So I guess the whole entire journey is very, very engaging for the consumer, very interactive for the consumer for his purchase.
So are you talking about an integrated digital sales journey that you guys have developed, right from the chatbot to showing different projects, showing visual assets and closure?
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
So there is no way that, if you've got a consumer, you're going to let him go.
Yeah, sure. Great. Deepak, any sort of the different magic that you guys have been working on?
Good evening, everyone. Thrilled to be with some of the stars of real estate here today. Yes, we've tried to be fairly innovative and tried to build an experience with all our customers who come at the site. Our approach has been from noise to relevance. I think, Sunil, you captured one very, very valid point. In the past 5-7 years, we've seen an abundance of display ads and the entire framework of performance marketing out there. But in the entire story, somewhere we've missed the part to stay relevant with this. We thought maximum impressions, and we've indulged ourselves and we've immersed ourselves so much in the CPA, cost per lead and the cost per walk-in models, that somewhere we forgot that roti kapda makan is still the most basic essential requirement of every Indian. How do we bring this together at the site is what we always thought about, and we've built a few systems, one of which I'm particularly proud of is an immersive experience where the customer gets to virtually move around the project in the form of an immersive experience. So what you see in presenters and op docs and brochures and renders, you're essentially allowed to navigate every nook and corner about the project, go to the apartment that you want to buy, and then build your own apartment. Customize it to every possible way, including the flooring, the light, dimensions, whatever you want to do, you can go ahead and do that. That is from the engagement point of view. Also gamification, or rather if I would want to put it in a better way, mixing emotion with tech is what we really want to strive at the site. So most of our amenities are gamified into touch panels. They're not screens, but panels of different sort where you touch them and something happens and they come to life. So if you look at a butterfly garden, suddenly you see butterflies flying around and all of those things. What this is helping us do is improve a customer life cycle, and we've stitched it with a very smart, and that is where AI comes into picture. We've stitched it very smartly with our CRM base, where the experience is very, very personal in nature. So a few things that we've done that is working for us.
Fantastic. Right now. We were from noise to relevance, immersion, engagement, the whole sort of cycle of marketing. Thanks for that. Good words used. Govind, you of course represent many clients, but you service the best clients in real estate, and you have got a multi-client experience. Would you like to add on this? That what are the new developments for the industry itself, and what you guys have worked on in the last 3, 4, 5 years?
Sure. So 3, 4, 5 is a large landscape. I believe every 2 years things are evolving. I'll come to a basic framework. I believe in our team we are always following this in the last 2 years. PCT, performance, content and technology, backed by a layer of common, which is data. which is in performance. What is it that has changed? Previously, we were used to target things randomly, broad-based. Now, because of the data insights that we carry about which location, what transaction happened, at what price happened, who bought it, what surnames, these are the new insights that we're able to gather and able to target the core and discovery split, which means that, you know, people who are buying from a 5-kilometer radius to the people who are buying beyond it. So how do we spend and marginalize and make sure that our budget splits are focused into the split? So that's where performance has really evolved with the data play. Reading about the last transaction histories, the content is two ways. One, what Rohit is doing, let's say on the site, that's not something that we usually have a huge role to play. We partner with people like Rohit. But the other, what will get people to the site is where the largest science happens. Both the kind of content pieces are different. And that's where we have tried to make a difference that, okay, what is it people would be clicking upon? What should we really design in the first 5-10 seconds? Or if they're not clicking, they should be really having a great recall of it. Right? We can have something really, really memorable. Maybe they're not interested, but they has to have a great recall. That's of the, the proposition that we're solving for. And the last is technology, where how the data and technology comes together in all this ecosystem, where the customer data is not sitting in silos anymore, right? Every department should get the right value chain and attributes about those data points so that they can build right decisions, target things in the right manner, because unlike other FMCG and real estate, we've always maintained we are a hyper-local play. 5 to 10 kilometers is where the most of the 70-60% sales usually happen. And that has to be very concentrated effort. And if done right, we really can work upon solving the customer acquisition cost problem in the long run. After the first 6 months, you'll definitely see a different rip if you are using the data in the right manner. So that's last 2 years we have been given with a lot much more value chain and support from the overall fraternity ecosystem, the government data coming in. And that's where we are harping the most so far to give the best value for the buck for the client that we are catering to.
Fantastic, Govind. Govind, do you want to take 30 seconds step back and just tell what Insomniacs does and what are the services that you offer? Because the business for these three was pretty straightforward. They sell homes and other projects. So
Insomniacs largely caters to the marketing space, but technology is where we see that, there are different value touch points where we have to build technology, where we have built it around 14 product suite, where different engagement data points are getting captured for the customers, and that gives us a larger value to create sense around those customer behavior. And eventual idea is to create a value where the sales team can get a very targeted propensity rating around each and every customer who's engaging with you as a brand, so that you can treat them differently. And that's where we believe our end goal largely lies. Can we really give sales that kind of an insight about each and every customer because of their previous behavior? Right now, they just appear on the site and they have no clue apart from their phone number. What more can we give about them? What ad did they click? Did they like the swimming pool? Which creative literally worked for them? What is it that they talked on the call? And what is it that they are really willing to carry? And what are the things that they inquired for? What are the other competitors they are talking to? If all that insight can be given to sales, our job gets done. And thus, we are keeping our right and left brain combination together when you're approaching marketing, which is great content backed with the best technology merged together to give the best data inputs to the sales team. So this is the landscape that we have been chasing. That's the differentiation we're trying to make.
Fantastic. You help us make look more intelligent. Words like hyper-local, hyper-personal, hyper-customized, guys. So see the use of each and every word in a different context. Thanks for that, Govind. Amit, will round up with you. You have been around the space and helping real estate builders build their brands and businesses. So what has changed in the last 4 or 5 years for you? What are the new things that you guys have done?
I think newness may not be equal to technology, and actually marketing is about understanding and connecting with people. So how deep we can go in that connection, I think that is a space that we need to look at. Technology is an enabler for that, but that is a larger picture. Say, when was the last time we used technology to gather buyer insights? I don't know my buyer well enough, so this technology should help me do that. So I think in the whole thought process in real estate, one thing that is missing right now, which should happen, is listening. Are we hearing our buyers? Are we listening to our buyers? I don't think we are doing that enough. Everything that we are doing is in the space of talking. We are trying to say this, say that. But I think once you listen, a big change can happen, and every real estate project almost is the same. It's almost from the same block or whatever. So if you listen to them, you will be able to create something that stands apart, and that will make it so much easy for it to be marketed and sold. So that's my thought on this.
Fantastic, Amit. So who is the customer? What does he want? Questions that we were taught in MBA schools. Where have these questions gone? Is it? And the cognitive overload of sort of looking at social media and trying to figure out what the customers want is possibly creating the noise over the relevance, if I may sort of marry the 2 points. Fantastic. I think this is a pretty varied smattering of ideas and philosophies in the group. So I think you guys are going to have some fun on technology versus not technology, or the left versus the right brain. Great. So let's change gears and get down to a bit of metric-driven businesses, since marketing has moved in the last 20, 30 years towards being hard-nosed, metrics-driven. So the question roughly is, what does selling smarter mean, right? And what are the metrics and KPIs that we should be monitoring for seeing the results? And can we have some examples of such metrics? So we'll just pick up 3-4 people. Whoever wants to go with it. Rohit, Deepak, Govind, if you may.
See, selling smarter means, see, there are many ways where a builder can make a smart selling. See, it's more about like,
Closer.
yeah. So, like, how are we giving the first start with the experience? So, experience starts from day one of the buyer's journey. That it's big digital experience. Then the same experience should continue at the site. That when they're coming at the site, he shouldn't feel that there's a different experience, wow experience coming at the digital ads or the digital platform where they've came and seen the product or the project. And when they came at the site, it's a whole together different experience. So they have to continue with the same journey, so the customer feels, yes, they feel connected, digital as well as on-site experience. Then we, again in smart selling, there's a lot of data which we capture to filter out the leads, so that we spend more effort on we don't give a lot of effort on generic leads, but more qualified leads. So like AI, what Govind is building. So it filters out, narrows down the leads and give the more relevant leads for the sales team to focus on. So these are the ways where, so I don't have KPI. I think Govind and Deepak and all can add on the KPIs and numbers. But these are the ways where they can convert the normal lead into a qualified lead without much human intervention.
So consistency of customer experience and some hard-nosed metrics around qualified lead is what you've been looking at. Deepak, you want to, Govind, you want to start off? Either of you.
Okay. So selling smarter, as I told, simple. जो हमारी कहानी है ना कि pen sell करके दिखाओ, right? What is the output of it? The output is ask the question, don't sell, right? So the most important part is how much do I know about my customer? And on that basis, what is the strategy or the communication I can play, right? And that's where selling smarter largely means. Now the metrics in terms of the marketing landscape, when we really judge, typically we all know it, but most important parameters, as we said, real estate has operated very differently than any other industry. Here the metrics are not the vanity metrics of the reach or the clicks or the CTR. The metrics are very clear, cost per booking. Right? And that has to lie under 2% for most of the cases, depending upon the brand that you are, depending upon the space that you are in. So largest metrics is that. What follows is, of course, the lower side of it, the cost per quality lead. We do whatever that we do, but I don't think we can go past it. The branding journey at the same time parallelly plays a very important role. And we really believe we will be soon coming out with a white paper of a sort where we will show how the branding exercise that you did right affected and took your customer acquisition cost down, right? I believe that's a real case study in real estate we all need to carry. And that's one variable that nobody really traces great. But Deepak, Deepti and Sarina, they are the best guys to talk about on that subject.
Fantastic.
And I love to keep countering, but then that's...
Fantastic, Govind. So looks like you are talking about the dichotomous sort of existence of a hard-nosed CPB, cost per booking thing, Along with the branding, again, you threatened to bring a white paper on branding as well, much to the horror of some of us here. but great, looking forward to that. Raji, you want to top it up? So Deepak, you want to top it up with your experience on metrics, digital marketing, and Deepak.
So, cost per customer acquisition that he touched is arguably the most sensitive topic for all marketers today. We've all been bleeding. But I think Sarina touched upon it very loosely. Your brand health study and the way you position your brand has a direct relation to your cost per customer acquisition. If you've established your positioning really well in that micro market or to your relevant audience base, you will see a drastic reduction in your customer acquisition cost. Your lead life cycle. Now, there's this huge black hole when it comes to a lead life cycle with differentiated views. It is extremely varied in everybody's opinion. But there is one common factor. It is everybody struggling to bring down this customer acquisition life cycle. The point where the lead is generated to a point where the site visit happens to conversion and then realization of the booking. I think one thing that really marketeers don't talk about is eventually your cancellations that become a part of every booking. And I can see suddenly everybody nodding. Yes, that's actually a pain. And the answer to that cancellation value is also brand building. Essentially, every customer, every person who's consuming the ad is a potential buyer, either today or 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line. Real estate even today is a milestone-based purchase. It's not something you step out of your home and then you end up buying. It's still a milestone-driven purchase. It will evolve, but that will take its own time. I think matrices are very, very variable based on the ticket size that you deal in. What is relevant for me today not necessarily be relevant to Deepti or to Sarina or to Govind. Each of us have a different segment that we are operating in. And people who are operating across the entire segment are looking at cost of customer acquisition. Of course, your cost per lead, cost per walk-in, cost per campaign, all of these are standard. But eventually it's about the lead life cycle that comes into picture.
I'd like to add something here.
Please.
So my digital marketing head is right here sitting in the crowd. And she's the most happiest because we give her lots of money to spend. And in fact, she came from another brand to us and she was very conscious about cost per lead. And I said, why? There's no need to worry about that. You can spend as much money as you want. And Vikas is very generous about it because we understand that it has a far more effective reach in building the brand equity and in brand building. So we don't have a smart selling technique, but we have a smart selling strategy, which is, as a luxury brand, create anticipation, create scarcity. So you see, when you go and buy those very fancy bags, there's a scarcity. There's only those many number of bags, those many limited number of cars. You create a scarcity, you create an anticipation, and you will have people queuing outside your customer center 24 hours before, the night before, and you sell out on the day.
Fantastic lessons in
Can I add something?
brand building on luxury. Amit, I'll just come to you.
Sunil, I would like to add something.
Yeah.
I think good selling technique is where you don't sell at all. You don't need to sell at all. If iPhone were to happen to real estate, what would be the cost per lead? What would be the cost per quality lead? I think only when we are doing standardized products and then thinking about sales and marketing does all this come in. I have an idea, like when we think of a consumer product, why not first start with the ad? What will be my ad like? And how will the consumers or the prospective buyers respond to that? So instead of building the product first, designing and defining the product first, and then writing the ad, can we first write the ad and see and try to visualize how many people are going to respond to this? And then, so step one, listen to the consumer. Step two, define a communication for them. Step three, make the product. If you do it like this, just suggesting.
The good out-of-the-box way, and you should bounce it off on your...
You can't tell architecture how to make their product.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You can't tell the architecture team and your design head how to design a product.
I'm doing that. I'm just suggesting that.
Which realty company is this?
This is an agency.
Fantastic. Just wanted to summarize a couple of points which came out. One is the building brands may reduce the CPB, and I would love to discuss this offline a bit. Is the CPB cost per booking for Piramal versus a Puranik versus a smaller brand in Thane differ, and is Piramal CPB lesser than that? I'm not sure, but would be great to lock horns there on the side. But loved the conceptual discussions about the pull being created through exclusiveness, I think. So Sarina, which you mentioned, which is a Mercedes or a Maserati sort of a pull campaign, versus an iPhone, like Apple must be spending zero on performance marketing possibly. So why not go there? And in the green room, Sarina, you were talking about Oberoi being sort of the design pioneer. Do you want to talk about that? And then I'll move to my next topic on branding, on the lost art of branding, which I'll pull in Deepti and then Amit after you. Sarina?
So we are a great outsourcing company. We outsource our building, we outsource our PMS, we do everything outsourced. So what do? 80% of our time we spend in designing. So, and this is right from Vikas Oberoi to right down to people in my team, whether we are designing the product, whether we are designing the development, whether we are designing our communication, or whether we are designing brochures and our collaterals. Great thought, great thinking is extended to these activities at Oberoi Realty. So one of the things that I want to talk about was about 3 years ago, Vikas said to me that people are curious about how we design, how we think, how we incorporate design thinking in our architecture. And I want to give you an assignment. So I looked at him wondering what's coming next. And he said, I want you to brand our design at Oberoi Realty. That put me in a fix because honestly I'm not a designer or nor had I done something like this before. And but it was a great challenge and I wanted to take it up very seriously. And one of the things we thought was to come up with a design studio, which would actually take the customer through the whole story of how we design their homes, how we design their space, how we landscape design, how we get into choosing materials that go into building a home. And one of the things that the team thought was to do this digitally and to talk about it on the digital platforms. I wasn't convinced because I thought this will just become a campaign and in another 3-4 months everybody will forget about it and it will be one of those things that came and went. I wanted something physical and something that would actually help people actually touch, feel, experience the whole brand experience. And the idea was to create something in our office at Oberoi Realty at the Westin. But I rethought about that again and I said, who really comes to our office besides employees and vendors? Nobody else comes to our office. So I went to our experience center. I mean, all the other developers call it sales lounges, sales galleries, sales offices. We call it customer experience centers. And I asked for a dedicated place, which was about 2,000 square feet, where my design studio would sit. We hired Landor, which is a WPP design company, and I gave them this mandate of creating something which will not involve technology. Not another screen, not another overstimulating sensory experience, but something that would talk really about how we build the whole experience of living naturally and building naturally. their director from Singapore worked on this whole thing with me, and we've come up with a beautiful design studio at the Oberoi Garden City Experience Center, which talks about sustainability and how we develop landscape. So we've got real moss sitting on the wall. We have a moss wall. We have Vikas's tenets on the design philosophy on one wall. We have a materials library where we actually get people to experience, touch, feel the tiles, materials, stone that we're actually going to provide them, even the taps and the faucets. And on one wall would be the entire concept of that particular project. It came out so beautifully. It took us a lot of time. We now replicate it in every experience center. So if you go to Thane, Forestville in Kolshit is inspired by biophilic principles. So we have biophilia in our architecture, and we tell that brand story through the design studio. So on and so forth in Oberoi Garden City, Thane, where the whole concept is about building homes and gardens, where we tell you the entire garden story, and we build a garden there with a courtyard, and the whole experience is very beautiful and green.
Fantastic, Sarina. Steve Jobs would be happy, but I'm
Really?
sure.
He must be turning in his grave then.
No, not at all. So why don't we take a segue into the left side of the brain and the lost art of branding and the three. Sarina has spoken about it, but why don't you guys talk about Arkade and JP? How have you been building the brand? You can focus on the offline piece as well. I think we have enough of digital. And I'll come to Govind and Rohit again and then to talk about AI.
So when it comes to branding, I think occasionally in realty space, we tend to use this synonymous with product marketing as brand building. And I think that is a flaw. It's a thought process flaw where, in fact, brand building is something which is a continuous, ongoing process, and it cannot be done sporadically. It cannot be done at a whim, and it cannot be done because I need to sell right now. It has to be completely organic. It has to be done consistently, and you need to be on the top of the mind of a consumer. They need to know your brand for you to be a part of the consideration set if and when they are going to be in a buying cycle. So what does your brand stand for in terms of, and it's not just the logo or purely those tangible things, it's actually the value that you bring to the table and how you are going to be a part of the consumer's life. I think there's a lot more branding that needs to be done by organizations, by the companies, in order to, essentially be a part of that consumer's life. It's, I understand that realty usually is like a one time or possibly twice in a person's life they're actually going to purchase a flat. But at the end of it, that's not the only lifetime value of a company, of a person. He could recommend your brand, he could build, references. That entire loyalty building is also a very important aspect of it, and all of that is going to come into the picture only and only when they actually believe in the brand and believe in what you stand for.
So corporate branding versus product branding, referrals, loyalty, all the sort of right things about branding. Thanks, Deepti. How about you on JP? What's your experience?
Essentially, who are we? We are storytellers. Everyone in this panel here is a storyteller. And we're all carrying either a product story or a brand story. And the beauty of telling that story is we can either make a good product sell faster or a bad product flop faster. So essentially, from the storytelling standpoint, and to take a little from what Deepti said, there is much, much more than just screens. There are, so one very essential aspect, and I'm sure you'll touch upon it later, are the channel partners. Now, we've all seen that direct business takes a hit, and at every discussion or every review meeting, there's always a point that comes about what are you doing to increase your direct business. What we've also done at one place is we've created a special team called as a direct assist team. Now, this team works as a consultant and an influencer to all these customers who come without a channel partner. So that has worked phenomenally well for us. We've been able to take our direct business up by as much as 47% in the last FY alone. Now, this is one small part. And now what these guys do, they carry the brand story further. they talk about JP, they talk about brand. And as a challenger brand, it is imperative that you build the right story in the mind of that customer. And how are you doing it? Who better than your employees who act as a potential consultant to these buyers? That's story one. So on and so forth, there are huge stories. In some places, we use the help of brand ambassadors. And the identification happens when the real story of that celeb merges with the real story that we want to talk about. When that synergy falls in place, and we've been able to mobilize the right levers, it's a beautiful story that comes out, and then we're able to do our magic around it.
Fantastic.
Sunil, what do you think?
Sorry?
I want to ask, what do you think? Because as a brand we spoke, as a marketing guys, you are there on the selling side as well. I want to know, what do you think? Typically, ghar bana diya, deliver kar diya, quality kar diya, that also is a brand building exercise to begin with, right? But you have witnessed it all across India. What is that your takeaways?
So, I come from a telecom / BFSI / real estate background. I've been building brands in the past. I was talking about building the Airtel brand about 10-15 years back, which was a different sort of world. As she pointed out, it's an FMCG world. So, if I were a real estate developer, I would really focus on building the brand much stronger than many of the players that I'm seeing around. And I would convert into metrics. Like 30% has to come from loyalty and referrals. 10% has to come from walk-ins without getting having to spend for that. So, but I'm a big believer on the combination of left and right, and the brand being the sort of foundation. Because even now, when I see the ads, if I remove the brand name, to be quite honest, sometimes I don't know, is it X or Y or Z? Is it? Yeah, so they look the same. Yeah, so there is unfortunately, there is a elevation and there is a lifestyle given there. If I were to build a brand, I would really build it.
Templatized marketing.
I was going to say superlative. Everything is superlative.
Yeah, and yes and no, because the moment is now. So I'm not being sort of derogatory of our own heart, what's been doing. But I think brand building in this industry has to still sort of go many steps. And but I think that in the next 5 to 10 years, as the markets are, as the sector is consolidating, right, from 11% in the top 10 players has gone to 33% over the last 3-4 years. This will go to 50%. There will be big brands. There will be pull. There's already pull among all your brands. There's some sort of pull coming in, but that has to become more and more pronounced. So thanks for pushing me. But that's a 1 hour discussion that I do normally. So customer advocacy, sort of brand ambassador. Amit, you want to top it up before I go, head into hardcore AI, because the next 5 minutes will be AI, and AI. There's oh goodness here. And guys, if you don't know, there is a font size 44 clock here, which says 655 and ticking. So we have got one more topic, AI, but Amit, on the brand versus, because you have built brands and you are a pure sort of blue-blooded marketer, looks like.
So if you were to talk about soaps, there's a soap which is a glamour soap, Filmi Sitaro ka Saundarya Sabun. There's a long-lasting soap. There's a men's soap. If you ask a prospective buyer of real estate, what does X builder stand for? It's impossible to get an answer in one word. So we haven't lost the art of branding because we never got it in the first place.
That's pretty tough, yeah, but yeah, we are listening.
So this is my take. I may be wrong.
Ouch.
So branding will not be defined by developers and marketing heads. Branding will be defined by the prospective buyer. If he is not able to say what an X builder stands for, then there is no branding in the first place. What has happened is that a lot of marketing, a lot of branding in real estate is about status marketing. So only thing that comes across is that I am a big builder. That's the only takeaway. What do you stand for as a builder? That the buyer doesn't know. I'm assuming the developers are clear, but the buyer doesn't know. So I think in terms of branding, real estate branding, the journey is almost at the start.
Tough.
I have a, sorry,
go
I
ahead.
would like to add in something here. I have a slightly different opinion in the matter. Real estate has been very apologetic about its history because time and again we've seen various cases come up, various stories come up. But at the end of the day, I have a slight disagreement at the point where we say that it is only the developer who's trying to say. Eventually, if the buyer believes कि तुम लोग अच्छे हो, तो वो खरीद लेता घर. So fundamentally, how you want to position yourself or how the customers perceive you or how potential buyers perceive your brand health study and all of these will give you a very brutal insight into भाई तुम कहाँ खड़े हो और तुम क्या कर रहे हो. People will tell you if you're not doing the right thing and they will be extremely brutal about it. We can expect zero empathy from potential buyers when they actually sit on the table. Eventually, बैठो जब धंधे की बात होती है, everything else goes for a toss.
Nobody is doubting that you're a great developer and there are a lot of great developers on the panel and everywhere else. It's not just about acha and greatness and whether you're doing well. Of course you're doing well. But if branding is about having a unique signature, we are not there. That's what I'm trying to say.
So good. The word positioning has come in the 55th minute of the conversation, which is in itself sort of a bit of doffing our hats at what's happening. Guys, Govind and Rohit, what's happening in AI? AI kya hai? What are you guys doing? And what are the 3-4 nuggets that the audience should glean from this conversation?
Rohit, you want to take it first?
You go ahead, Govind, you start, and
Okay.
we'll add to that
So,
on his side.
since we have limited time, I'm going to keep it bullet pointers. Anywhere you want to go more, please ask. Point number one, AI, the way we look at it, it's going to change everything from the marketing perspective in the next 1.5 to 2 years. What changes? First thing, a company like mine, suppose Insomniacs, as a digital agency, simple. If you're not proactivizing our services at scale, there is no way 2 years down the line you will be talking to us in the same manner. Clear. Second, most of the touch points which we have today, one, the customer calls, no matter how much ever people want to fight, it will be eradicated, it will be agentic AI based, there is no way because the evolution that we have just witnessed, it's just mind blowing. The last 1 year and to now what's coming. Third, the marketing piece with the Google and Meta platform, they will automate every bit of it. You will not have to go to anybody. The creatives will get made on their own once you have masters given. The ad campaigns and bidding will happen on their own. So this is a future without doubt coming. Fourth, on the brand language, most of important part, as when you are running your company, you have 5 people, 6 people, 7 people with your team. One of the largest problem that you will always say, hey, I want to believe in this, but I'm not able to translate it to my team members. And when they are coming out and giving the brief to the agencies, they are not able. So there's a lot of leakages that is happening. Now, Google is launching their next platform, which will be very exciting, which will be working for the B2B platform, which all will be used by us. You put everything of what your brand is about when he was saying that what is our unique signature, think through it, put through it, and see it play in every marketing communication that comes out from that platform. So AI from the marketing perspective, there could be many things happening. From the real estate marketing perspective, these are the 3 to 4 larger changes that are going to happen. Trust me, it is all going to benefit you. The problem actually is here. Whatever that we are doing is just going to change at so much of speed. A lot of people are not going to catch up to it. Right? So, but there are few angles that we believe that we have found, which could be our mode. We are running towards it. But if we don't run fast enough, trust me, I will not be in this panel 2 years down the line. And I'm scared for it.
Fantastic.
Govind is specifically looking at me and saying that.
We've had a mentor before, and we're going to keep fighting. Don't worry about it.
Fantastic, Govind. A bit of a science fiction sort of thing, if we had spoken about it 4 or 5 years back. Rohit, before you go, I'll add to that a bit because I represent both sides of the world. While you spoke about AI applications in marketing, my company is building a lot of applications on the sales side since we sort of specialize in that. So we have got a suite of generative AI tools or agentic AI tools under the cluster name Genie and a bunch of predictive tools under the cluster name Astra. So we have got B2C agentic AI tools which are talking to home buyers and trying to convince them to come for a project site visit. There are agentic AI tools talking to them and seeking referrals. There's an referral Genie, the first one, the walk-in Genie. Third is the home loans genie, which is matching 30 banks to the customer and giving an optimal loan. One is the post-sales genie, which is sort of assisting them after booking in sending documentation, letters, etc. And then there is a CP genie, which is the B2B agentic AI, which is talking to brokers and getting, encouraging them to come to the site. So it's a slew of a multi-agentic AI environment we have created, which is finally automating the sourcing part of sales. So it's increasing the efficiency there. And the efficiency increase in my mind is going to be 20-25%. It's not going to be 100% right now, which itself is pretty huge. And we are not talking about reducing people, but we are talking about increasing revenue, because India is at that juncture where, or time is up, it says, where, sorry, but I'll continue. Where we all are growing at 20-25%, and it could go to 30% in the next 4-5 years because of these sort of innovations. So just to add to your piece, the marketing
and
AI
I'll tell
and
you
the
the
sales
beauty.
AI.
A lot of people believe that AI is going to replace human. Those are the different conversations. But imagine a scenario where the customer who is booked, the genie is able to give them the demand draft, the payment, everything is coming automated. You're not relying upon any mistakes. That's experience. And more importantly, I've always asked, a 4 BHK customer walks into your site and then he sees the same ad of 2, 3, 4 BHK. Why? It is needed that he should be looking at a 4 BHK ad, because on the sales conversation, the conversation was about, let's say, a rooftop restaurant that you have or a swimming pool that you had. The creative adapts for itself. And trust me, 3 months, you will see it happen. So that's where the customizations are just gonna add to the experience of the customer. And that's the most beautiful thing. The technology will be able to aid to whatever that we are doing.
Fantastic, Govind. Rohit, we have run out of time, so why don't you take 30 seconds and
covered everything.
Okay.
Apart from that, we are working on an AI where, like, you have agentic AI who can bring customer to a site. So working AI where the AI will give the first virtual tour to the customer sitting at home.
Fantastic.
So they will tell you, they'll understand your requirements. They will show you. See, what happens, why do people want to bring customer to the site? See, first site, they never close a deal. It's just to get the customer know about the project. Okay, this is a project and this meets your requirement. That's what we are building, that we believe next coming couple of years, people will not go and hunt hundreds of properties. They will scout it digitally, they will finalize a property and they will visit the property which fulfills their checklist. So our AI, we're working that it will showcase you, explain you, digitally show, okay, suppose someone wants to have a kid. So they'll show you what are the amenities your kids can experience.
Customized viewing as well. Fantastic.
And they'll store all the data. So when the customer is visiting to a site, the salesperson have those data, he'll pick it up from there and he'll try to close the lead. Rather than he'll discuss like a very initial discussion, he won't have to do that. He will pick up his requirement, and where this product meets his requirement, that's where his role is.
Fantastic, Rohit. Super. This has been a great journey, starting from Ogilvy to Mark Zuckerberg to Sam Altman. I think we have covered the entire spectrum of marketing in the world and in real estate. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, can we take any questions, ma'am, or we are not allowed to? Guys, is there any one golden question she's allowing?
That's going to be the first question for today, but yeah, go ahead, the gentleman. Can we quickly get the microphone passed? The promoters?
Yeah. He says it's loud enough. Is it?
Make up your mind, loud enough, not. Everybody loves the mic.
My name is Satish Dandegaukar, and I wanted to know about how are real estate developers investing into AI, or are they investing or not investing, either into sales and marketing of AI or into the development part. Like in Dubai, they are investing huge into AI. I don't know about what is happening in Mumbai in the AI part. If you can highlight any one of you, it will be great.
Thank you so much for that question.
I'm on the stage that shows that people are accepting us and they want to really talk about it. I believe that's the answer. So yeah, it is people. I've got to tell. Baki in technology mein real estate late hoga. AI mein they are really moving very fast. I can see that it is about saving cost. So developers know this best, right? Most of the time. So it is aiding to the saving cost. So rest assured, it's a great adoption. one can say, without doubt.
So as developers, essentially, we may not be investing in developing applications and all of that. We're more into absorbing and adapting into the new age technology to reach out to the average consumer who's anyways out there and all very, very, very digitally aware and learned consumer.
Sure. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, as our panelists are here with us on stage, allow me an opportunity to call upon Kesia Sirohi and Vikas Sood of Alpha Corp marketing team to please join us and help us in giving a token of appreciation to all our panelists. May we urge all our panelists to please step forward, allow us an opportunity to give them a big, big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And may we request our presenters to give the token of appreciation, starting with, of course, Mr. Amit Baid. Thank you so much for joining in. May we request you to please join us in the center of the stage so that we can get you in the nice frame. Well, Amit is going to be right there. Okay, we're going to go ahead to Govind. Govind, thank you so much. Thank you for joining in. Let the applause continue, ladies and gentlemen. Deepak Nair, thank you so much. Thank you for joining in. We'd also like to humbly thank Deepti. Deepti Nair, thank you so much. A warm thank you to Sarina. Sarina, thank you for your valuable inputs. Let's give her a big, big round of applause. Rohit Kedia, thank you for joining in and giving us your valuable inputs. And of course, how can we not take the opportunity of thanking our session chair, ladies and gentlemen. A big, big round of applause for Mr. Sunil Mishra. May we urge all our panelists to please join us in the center of the stage, allow us an opportunity to capture you all in one frame. Please, all our panelists and our presenters to join us. And to all the audience members, the entire fraternity, let's give them a massive round of applause. Well, so much to learn, use cases coming in from the brands and the leaders here on the panel on the 17th edition of Realty Plus Conclave right here in Mumbai.